Are all vintage prime lens any good in 2016? In this video, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why you should hold up on buying a new prime lens and just give a try to the old vintage lenses. The first reason, cost. In eBay, Amazon, local camera shops, recycling shop, you could get these old vintage lenses for cheap. I'm talking about dirt cheap. The 50mm f1.4 Pentax lens that I'm using right now, it only cost $3. It even included the camera. I got it at a recycling shop. And since these lenses are so cheap, they can't even feel like they're dispensable. So if they break, you can easily replace it. Look around for another one. But you don't have to fear, because even though they're cheap, the build quality is one of the best. They're mostly made out of metal and have really good build quality. The second reason why you will want to get a vintage lens is for the look, the vintage soft look. You won't need any filters or pop filters, Instagram filters with these lenses. They already give you a natural soft look, which is great for portraits and actually helps in low light to reduce the noise. And of course, the best feature on these vintage lenses is the bokeh, the smooth creaminess you get behind the little depth of field that you actually get to focus on. It's just beautiful what you could do with these lenses. Even though they're soft and they give you all this bokeh, you might lose out on the contrast, but that's actually good for filming. You see, with lower contrast means you got a higher dynamic range. You get more information in your shot on the shadows, more of the highlights. And of course, by just stopping down on the aperture, you'll quickly solve most of these problems with the softness and the contrast. You still can get amazing shots. So you get the best of both worlds. Now, for the third reason why you want to get a vintage lens is for the low light capabilities. These tend to vary on aperture, but usually you can find a cheap one of an aperture of 1.7 all the way up to 3.5, but I personally wouldn't recommend anything over f2.8 because you're just getting in the kit lens realm and you don't want to go there. So you want to stick with the lower aperture because that means more light in your sensor, and more light means you get higher shutter speeds or even lower ISOs or ISO as some might call it. When you add that with that most modern DSLR or even Micro Four Thirds camera can take very clean pictures at ISO 1600, that means you can just afford to go out and leave your tripod at home. So it's really convenient for the travelers. Now, the fourth reason why you want to get a vintage lens is because, again, they're cheap. I just gotta emphasize it one more time, because really, you're only paying 10% of the price of a modern lens, but you're getting 80% of the quality, or if not even more, depending on the lens and the camera that you pair it with. But lastly, the final reason and most important one is for the love of photography. With this vintage look that you get, even the noise grain that you might get, it looks so organic and natural that you won't mind it on some shots. You can get away with noise much more than you would with a digital lens. And also with the love of photography, you learn to take pictures on the fly, because you got to think about everything. You got to think about the light, you got to think about the aperture setting. Even the white balance is affected by the glass and the coatings that were used in certain brands. But you just love the look, and each particular brand has their style, and that's really sweet. That is awesome, a lot of fun to do. And even videographers also will love the manual aperture controlling while filming. But more importantly is the smooth ring that you get when you turn to focus and pull focus. Only with these good prime lenses could you be able to do that. And even in some of the expensive pro prime lenses that have good travel and smoothness for focusing is very rare. So all these cheap prime lenses like the Sony's 35mm f1.8 and the Canon 50mm f1.8, they have terrible focus, but you barely get a third of a turn on your focus ring. So it really requires you to have a steady hand to be able to get a decent pull focus. It's possible, but it takes a lot of work. And finally, the thrill of just moving around in and out, focusing on your subjects at the same time. It's just a lot of fun. It's really fun to go out there and just do things manually. That's why I really recommend just get one. Go to a recycling shop, look on a box under the counter. They usually have these old cameras that are thrown away, but there might be a jewel in there. Like I found that nifty 50 for $3. So just go get one of these, walk around and shoot. And even if you don't go out, just go around your house, and you could even take shots of dull things around your house. They can become pieces of art. Before you buy a modern prime lens, I recommend go ahead and get one of these old vintage, and you will really enjoy photography and videography a lot more. I hope you guys enjoy this video. In the near future, I am going to put some vintage lenses up against the modern prime lenses and see how they hold up in this modern digital world. I also want to know about you guys. Tell me, what prime lens or vintage lens do you own now, and how has it lived up to its price? Is it worth the price? Let me know down below in the comments. If you like this video, go ahead and snap a like on that button. If you didn't like it, well, I guess you can go ahead and dislike it, only if you really need to. But regardless, thanks for stopping by, and for more content like this, reviews and how to, if you haven't already done so, then go ahead and subscribe. Hope to see you guys on the next one. Sayonara.